Hello everybody, this is Husky10. As promised, I am going to be making Space Invaders, showing you how to do Space Invaders. So let's get started. Create a new project. I'm going to choose the folder. I'm going to use Gdevelop. I'm going to use this. I'm going to name it Space Invaders. I'm going to create a new folder, create Space Invaders. Select folder and then create a new empty one. Now we are going to create a new scene. We can call this scene anything we want. I'm going to call it star, or no, I'm going to call it play game. So let's open up the scene. The original Space Invaders had a black screen, so let's change that. Right click, go to scene properties and click to choose a color, choose it black, hit OK. I'm going to choose a few changes, go to game settings, go to property, uncheck update resolution to fit the screen. We're also going to change height by 100 by 100, so that would be 700. Hit apply, and now we got a nice scene. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's create a new insert a new element. So we're gonna insert the player sprite. I'm gonna call this player, and I'm gonna color it. The original Space Invaders player was green, so let's put that there. This is just a placeholder for now. We're going to add a behavior. We're going to add two behaviors. We're going to add top-down movement. Uncheck all these. We're also going to install a behavior. Go to search new behaviors. Look for screen wrap right there. Install in project. And then select it. And there we go. Drag the player onto the screen. Now, here we're going to create a new group. Call it player movement. Add a new event. And we're going to say key pressed. We're going to search for key press in the conditions. We're going to say left. Hit OK. We're going to select our player and we're going to simulate left. Hit OK. We're going to do the same thing again. Copy this and change it to the right key. Sadly, we can't duplicate this and make it go the other way, so we're going to select our player again and we're going to have that simulate right. So let's press play. We now have a player that moves left and right. And it wraps and comes over to the other side of the screen. So let's make a bullet. For this, I am going to create a new sprite. I'm going to call it bullet. I'm going to add an animation. You can make this however you want. I'm just going to color it red, and I'm going to choose the line and go like this. Hit save. I'm going to go to custom collision marks, use a custom mask. I'm going to zoom in all the way, or at least as far as I can get, and we're going to mask it. And we're done. Hit apply. So let's start programming the bullet. So create a new group. I'm going to call this bullet. We're going to add a new event. We're going to, in the conditions, type in key press. We're going to say space for this game. Hit OK. We're going to create the bullet. So we're going to create an object, position player dot x, not point x, and we are going to choose player dot y. Oh, come on. There you go. Hit OK. Now you got a problem. It'll create, but it won't do anything else. So let's add some force to it. So we are going to add force at a force angle. Let's say -90 and the speed of 200 pixels. Hit OK. Alright, it seems to be working. Let's up the speed by 5. And there we go. We have a working bullet. Let's, in here, underneath our key press, we're going to add another condition and type in trigger. And we want to trigger once while true. This, otherwise you would be using a variable. You would have to be setting and resetting a variable. I find this is sometimes better. That way you don't get any long screens. Now we can add a sound to this. Add an action. We're gonna say play sound. I'm gonna actually show you guys where I get my sounds. So go to Google, type in sfxr.me, and you have a sound effects generator. So there's a lot. You can use a laser. Just go to your link, click save link as. I'm gonna save it to my sound effects library. I'm gonna call it laser 2. No, 3. Hit save. That's when you chose a good enough sound. So we're gonna add our sound. There it is. Hit OK. I'm gonna set it to 40. You do not want it to repeat, otherwise it would just keep repeating and repeating. So let's press play. Okay, I kind of like that sound actually. Now it's time to make the enemy. So go to our game, we're gonna add another sprite. We're gonna call this enemy. You only need one enemy for this. At least you can add as many enemies as you want, but I'm just gonna create an enemy, one kind of enemy, so I'm gonna color it purple. Save. We're going to go to behaviors, add a behavior to the object. We're gonna install one more. We're gonna install sign or ellipse. Install in project and add it and hit apply. Let's test it out. Okay, it seems to be moving pretty good. Let's expand the let's expand how far it goes. So horizontal, let's say 500. Hit apply, press play. Okay, let's boost it down. You can play around with this. I'm just gonna say 300. Hit apply. I'm gonna put it in the middle. Alright, I'm gonna move it over a little bit. Okay, and we want to add more enemies. You can add as many enemies on the scene as you want. I'm gonna add 6. Let's test it out. Okay, I'm gonna change this to 200. 300 is off, so I'm gonna say 200. Hit apply. And we have a better enemy movement. Now I can add more enemies, as many enemies as your heart desires. Alright. Bring that down. And we have a row of enemies. Now we want to create a thing. We want to add a new group, and I'm going to call it enemy. I'm going to add a new event. I'm going to say when the bullet is in collision with the enemy, we want to delete the enemy. And under it, we want to add another action. We want to play sound. I'm gonna add a new sound. I'm gonna pick an explosion sound from my library. Set it to 40. Hit OK. And we have now. You might think our game is too easy, so that can be easily fixed. The thing is, they're too far apart, in my opinion. So press play. It's still kinda easy. There we go, we have a small working Space Invaders. I'm just trying to make it look a little nicer. Alright, now we can change the player sprite. So I'm gonna add a new sprite. I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna add a new screen. I'm gonna draw a square. I'm gonna color it. That. I'm gonna do this. Hit save. I'm gonna delete that. Oh, I also want to do one more thing. The reason it's also kind of easy, we want it when it collides with the enemy, we want to delete the bullet also. Hit OK. There we go. Alright, so we have a playable game, but and I'm also going to do this. I'm going to edit the mask for the player, so that way you're not, so that way you There we go. Hit close, hit apply. I'm also going to change the enemy sprite. I don't know what to do. Maybe a square and another square. You can do this however you want. I'm gonna color it that color. Save, delete. You can make the enemies anything you want. Someone suggested I should do Xbox logos or PlayStation logos or Atari logos. Yeah, I'd run into a lot of copyright. The next thing we want to do is, the problem with our game now is the player doesn't have any reason any way to die. And in Space Invaders, the enemies could fight. So let's change that. We're going to duplicate our bullet. We're gonna call it bullet 2. We're gonna keep it like that. So let's create a new group. I'm gonna call it enemy bullet. I'm gonna set a scene timer. So in the conditions, I type in scene timer, value of the scene timer. I'm gonna set it to 3. I'm gonna call it bullet. Hit OK. Now we want to create bullet 2. So let's do that. But we don't want to go to player.y. We want to go to enemy.x and enemy.y. And there we go. We're gonna reset the scene timer, so type in scene timer. We're gonna call it, okay, it has to be the same as this, so ebullet. There we go, and we're going to add an instant force. So copy this, add a new condition, paste it in the actions. We're going to say 90 this time. Let's see what happens. Okay, for some reason it's not moving. Oh. You don't forget to change it to bullet 2. So let's see. See, now we have the problem, a completely new problem, which is when the enemy bullet, oh shoot, when the enemy bullet is in collision with the player, your player doesn't die. So we're going to add a new scene. We're going to rename it "You Died." Now when bullet 2 is in collision with player, we wanna change the scene to "You Died" and hit OK. So you got this. You're in collision with the enemy bullet. I'm avoiding it for some reason. You change scene. We are going to go to the scene color black. Alright. I'm gonna add a new object. I'm gonna add text. I'm gonna say you title. I'm gonna say you died. I'm gonna change it to 30. Color it white. We can change the font. Any font you downloaded, I'm gonna just go with that because that's probably one of the only pixel things. So there, we have a death screen. We are going to hit the 3 dots next to our game and set a scene variable. Click add. We're gonna say count, and we're going to set it to 0. Hit apply. Now in our game, where when the bullet is in collision with the enemy, we're going to change count by 1. We're going to add 1. Hit OK. So first off, we need to count how many character enemies. So we have 12. So we're going to say when the scene variable count equals 12, hit OK. We're going to change the scene to you win. Hit OK. We don't have a you win scene, so let's make that. Create a new scene, rename it you win, and I'm just gonna make it really quick. There we go, it's black. Scene object, we are going to say you win. We're going to set it to 30. I'm going to change the font to what we had earlier, change the color to white. It can be any color, and there you have it. And we're going to go here and say when the scene variable count equals 12, we're going to go to you win. So let's test it out. See, our death scene works. If you destroy shooting, it will just see you win. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a whole lot you can do for this. I'm actually gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna set a global variable. Add. I'm gonna call it score. I'm gonna set it to 0. Hit apply. We're gonna go to where we're going to go here where the bullet is in collision with enemy. We want to change the global variable. Score plus 1. Hit OK. Alright, so come here. We're going to create a new text. We're going to call it score. Color it white. And there you go. I'm going to set it to 40. Hit apply. I'm going to set it here. Go here and we're going to add a new event. We're going to add an action and we're going to select our text and select modify text. and set it to equals. And we're going to search for a variable, hit apply, and OK. And we have a game with a score. See, we destroyed that enemy. And this is our Space Invaders game. You can do more with this. Like what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add more enemies. So now 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So I'm gonna set this one, the count to 18. Hit OK, press play, and we now have a longer game of invaders. So that's how you make Space Invaders. I hope you enjoyed this game. This tutorial. This is all the code we used so far for this. If there's anything else you kind of want me to add to this, like say a timer or lives, just put it in the comments below. A lot of this stuff that I've been putting in my videos, I have been learning on my own with the occasional YouTube tutorial. I will occasionally watch those. Subscribe if you're not. Tell your friends, and peace out.